See what it says now. Hopefully this one isn't too choppy. So, let's see. Let's see. Whoever's in the live, let me know how this quality is. It was choppy the last time. I just want to make sure everything's good before I resume the episode. Is it still choppy? Oh, is that better? Once I get the okay, I'll continue. But somebody let me know. So make sure everything is good. It is. Okay, that's better. Is that better? I'm assuming it is. Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Well, if this shit don't works out, then it'll be on YouTube. In any case, uh, like I said, back to what I was saying, yo. For those who are just joining, um, the last stream was a little choppy, but this particular episode is we're diving back into our conversation that we need to have amongst our community, um, whether it be internal or external. First segment is internal call outs. Um, Basically, what I was saying was one of the problems that we have now is glorifying negativity, i.e., the hood life, the street culture, toxicity, basically stemming from what we see on TV and flexing over, well, I would like to say education, ownership, or different things that actually benefit us in the long run. So, as I was saying, a lot of times I see that people that have grown up in the hood for the most part, from what I've heard, people that actually grow up in the hood don't glorify that. They want people to get out of the hood because it only leads to two places. I know you've heard this saying before. You either end up dead or in jail, and that's absolutely true. Um, but the next thing is toxicity, which, like I said, I'm gonna dive more into that as we go. As we go on, I'm gonna get more specific in that. But I want to talk about flexing over basically education or ownership. Um, I noticed a lot that we like to flex our assets over our accomplishments. When I say assets, I mean, well, actually, you got to know what an asset is. Um, Items, realistic things. We like to shit flex with the kind of clothes we wearing, what shoes we wearing. And like I said, this is kind of a continuation to my Do Better, Be Better episode. So some of the things that you may have heard that you might hear again in this one, but not to that degree to where it's just a repeat. And also, you might hear some things that I've stated in my 90s. No, I'm sorry, my living in a sense of spending episode. I believe that was episode 9. But moving on, yeah. So a lot of people I see that they like to flex like clothing, your shoes, or different things like that. And instead of that, I say flex your accomplishments. You know, your diploma from high school if you just graduated, your degree from college, you know, that approval of your new house, or hell, the, you know, anything that can be considered an accomplishment, or a promotion that you got, or you getting on at a major company, or becoming the CEO of that company, you know, promotions, um, promote, yeah, like I said, promotions, and what's that word? Damn, I just had it in the top of my head. Graduations. Yeah, graduations from wherever you were attending. Shit, things like that. Like nobody wants to, well, I ain't gonna say nobody, but I just don't see the point in people, getting on social media flexing with money and have to, the money running up your arm and shit like that. I just think that's corny to me. I mean, no hate to anybody that does it, but I just find the shit to be very corny. I'm sorry. Um, People flexing new cars. I mean, I find that to be kind of corny too. I mean, if this is like your dream car, yeah, obviously. But if it's like, oh, I'm flexing this and knowing you can't afford the shit, I just think that's very corny. In my opinion, you're looking for validation from outsiders, which is probably the worst thing you can really strive for because people are jealous and people are envious. But in any case, uh, to end this particular idea, I love us, but I hate that we celebrate the wrong things. Now, let's get a little more in depth about the materialistic items. Um, as far as flexing education or flexing over education or ownership, like I said, flexing materialistic items. So let's get a little bit more detailed into that. And as far as designer brands, I mean, hell, Louis, Gucci. I'm not gonna touch too much into this because I already talked about this in an old episode. But basically, like I said, just I love us, but I hate that our lives are ran by items and materials and validation from others. Because the only validation that you need is within yourself, honestly, and up above. The next thing I want to talk about is the crabs in a barrel mentality. And if you're not familiar with that particular definition, that basically means that, and me paraphrasing, it basically means that you want to pull each other down out of jealousy or spite or envy. Kind of like, crabs pull each other down when they're in a barrel, literally. But in any case, I love us, but I hate that we can't just support each other. I hate that when we see somebody striving or possibly doing better than us, it's never, oh, hey, I'm happy for this man, or hey, congratulations, you got to tell me what you did to get to this point so I can try to do that too. Or it's never things like that. It's always like, oh, fuck that nigga. Oh, he probably did this to do that. Or she probably fucked and sucked her way up to the top. Or he probably did something, paid somebody else. It's never just congratulating somebody for their accomplishments. It's always questioning them or jealousy or envy. And that shit is unhealthy for us. Like, why are we always so jealous of each other? Why we always got to get to the point where if we feel like somebody doing better than us or we feel like somebody got more than us, why is our first thought either hatred or something that harms them? Then motherfuckers be ready to rob people that they see got more than them. So it's like you can't even really have fun with your shit because somebody's always watching you. And other than that, it's like I said, it's unhealthy, it's stupid, it's corny. I really think it's very insecure for people in our community and us to just hate on each other. Like I said in my last video, like it's stupid. It makes no sense. And there's no room. We're already the most hated race on earth. You can argue with Jamal on that one. We're already the most hated race. And for what? We already hated by the white folks, by everybody else. And then we choose to hate each other instead of sticking together. So that makes it even worse. We target each other before we target the real evil of society. I don't understand it. Um, the next thing is ignoring our mental health. So with that being said, I love us, but I hate that we bottle everything in and then look at getting professional help as a sign of weakness. Since when is getting professional help a sign of weakness? You know, why do we consider that not is a loss of strength? In my opinion, I think getting mental health, professional help is a sign of strength, in my opinion. It shows that yes, I admit that I have a fucking problem that I need help. And instead of me worsening myself, let me go get this professional help because I don't want to be that person. I want to get better. Wanting to get better is a sign of strength and a sign of maturity. Wanting to stay where the fuck you at, that's a sign of immaturity, in my opinion. Immaturity and just lackadaisical mindset, to be honest. And then it's like people they like to clown others. Oh, what you got going on? You ain't did this, you ain't did that. Like, what you stressing out about? Such and such. Not only other people, but like I said, our parents too. And I talked about this in my last episode too. The parents, they have this thing to where, and not all parents, of course, but a lot of the older generations, a lot of them say, "Oh, what you got to be stressed out about? You just a kid. You ain't an adult. You ain't got no bills and this and that." Basically, trying to say that just because you're a certain age, you can't express yourself or you can't be stressed out about something or depressed about something. Oh, what you depressed about? Oh, you gonna grow out of it. Oh, you all right. You better undepress it. Just stupid shit. Instead of talking to your kids, you know. But like I said, I talked about that in the last episode too, so I ain't gonna talk about it too much. I think sometimes it's okay to be quote unquote weak. Vulnerable might be a better word. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because everybody needs help from time to time. Not everybody can be strong 24/7. Nobody in this fucking world is strong 24/7. Everybody has their vulnerable states, whether you want to admit it or not. And if you feel like you don't have a vulnerable state, you're a fucking liar. I'm sorry, you just are. And you probably need mental help. If you feel like you don't need it, you probably need it. But let's move on to the next one: toxic relationships and toxic parenting. And this is going to kind of piggyback off of somewhat my last point. For this particular one, y'all, I love us, but I hate that we've normalized toxicity and negativity. And I hate that, I don't want to phrase this. I hate that this idea that making your kids struggle is a form of building character, and that's just where I'm gonna start. I feel like that's toxic. I feel like you're holding on to some shit that you need to let go. I feel like you may have been raised the same way, but that doesn't mean that you continue that. That's one of those generational trends that do not need to be. You need to leave where the fuck you're at. That's why I say on my Facebook page, if y'all know me, I got, matter of fact, yeah, on my Facebook page, if y'all know me on Facebook, my pinned tweet says generational trauma ends with me. And it's been my pinned tweet since, honestly, since before the birth of my daughter. And it's probably gonna remain there until I decide when to take it down, which will probably be never. But in any case, toxic parenting is a form of, I feel like it's a form of abuse, low key. Um, and it comes in so many forms. It can be like the aforementioned downplaying your child's mental issues or mental concerns, want to use them for a paycheck, making them pay bills. Well, and I use this lightly. When I say making them pay bills, I mean that as soon as they turn 15, you got them paying this bill, you got them paying that bill. And it's not from a place of teaching them responsibility like you claim it is. It's really a place of, oh, I ain't got to spend as much money anymore because now he got a job and he's going to contribute. It's okay to make your kids contribute, especially if, they're of age that they can contribute. But don't make it to the point where now you're depending on them to pay this bill, otherwise it doesn't get paid. That's toxic. That is very toxic. That is immature. That's not the way to do that. The way I plan on doing it, and my daughter, she'll probably, if I'm still around, well, I'm gonna still be around. If I'm still doing this by the time she makes 18 or whenever she decides to move out and she sees this in the future, the way I planned on doing it with my daughter is, if she does pay bills, it'll probably be the cheapest bill, and that money will be put in a savings account. When she turns 18 or whenever she decides to move out, that money that I have saved up for her over those periods of years is going straight back to her. So if she pays maybe $200 a month for whatever, I put that, instead of me using that and saying that or using it on something else and saying that I paid the bill, I'm gonna put it in a savings account for her. It's gonna not only save that money for her, but yeah, it may even teach her the value of paying bills. It could. It really could. Excuse me. I hope it does. But like I said, when she decides to move out, however much she has saved up, which at that time held $200 a month, 12 months, what's that? $24,000, $2,400 a year. My math might be off, but in any case, let's just say she puts up 2,500 a year for about 3 years, 4 years maybe. In 3 years, that's $7,500. In 4 years, that's $10,000. You know what I'm saying? That she just that's hers to do whatever she wants with it. That could get her furniture, that could get her down payment, just different things that I have set up for her future. That I'm not just using her for a paycheck like a lot of parents do. You know who you are. But enough about the parenting. Let's move on to the relationships. Now, I personally have been the victim of a toxic relationship, either it being me being the victim or me being the bad guy, which I've been on both sides, so I can confidently say that being in a toxic relationship is not for the weak. It's draining. Hold on, let me see what Ghost Kids say. The great thing, I'm confident in the people who realize we missed out. Financial literacy, and they make sure they overpour their lessons. Yeah, exactly. And that's the way to do it. Anything that you learn, you make sure your kids know that and more. Not just what you know. Make sure they know what you know and that they also get out and learn more about it. Because the kids are the future. They hell shit changes like every day. So our kids have a better opportunity at keeping up with this shit more than we do because we've grown up in a certain era. Like I said, everything is changing. They're gonna grow up in a different era. We as parents have to learn how to adapt to that era, but some of us have a hard time of doing that either because we don't want to or because it's just a lot to keep up with. Me personally, I try to keep up with what's going on. I try to keep up with what's changing in the world, but like I said, shit changes so much, it's hard as hell to keep up with. But we have to make sure our kids at least know what the hell is going on. But back to the toxic relationships. Like I said, I've been in quite a few myself. I mean, not quite a few, but I've been in very small number myself. I've been on the victim side, and I've also been the one that's been toxic. And when I was the one that was toxic, it was very bad. And I will admit that because at that particular time, I needed help that I wasn't willing to admit that I needed. And that goes back to ignoring mental health, which is basically what I did. And that caused me to take all of my frustrations and all my anger out on my partner, who obviously did not deserve that. But now it got to a point to where it was getting like really, really bad. And I felt myself losing more of my I felt like I was losing more of myself each and each day. So when I finally did get the help that I needed, I realized that, you know what, yeah, I'm glad that I did do it. I'm glad that I stopped ignoring my mental health. And I'm glad that I actually realized that yes, I was the one being toxic. And no, I'm never gonna go back to that person. And I can confidently say that I have made a lot of progress with that. And I'm glad of the progress that I made. And I appreciate the therapist that I had back then. Around this time, this was COVID, so it didn't really last long. And the therapist that I have now. But in a way, though, I'm gonna flip a little bit. A lot of times, I see that, and for my sisters more specifically, and not trying to sound like Umar or nothing like that, but for my black women, I have personally seen people say that they would rather be with a toxic person because it's more fun. Now, somebody tell me how the fuck is being with somebody that's toxic more fun than being with somebody that's stable? Because me personally, if I choose to be with somebody that's toxic, then that speaks a lot about myself. If I decide like I'm not having that, I'm really not because I've been through that before. I've been the toxic one. I've been the victim of a toxic relationship way back when. And to voluntarily want to date somebody that you know is toxic or that you know is messy or whatever the case may be, what is wrong with you? That shows a lack of self-confidence on your end and a lack of self-respect, a lack of dignity on your end because you're willingly deciding to be with somebody who you know ain't good for you. Why put yourself through that? You know? And then on the other saying, why be somebody like that? Why be that toxic person? That shit gets you nowhere. If anything, all it's gonna do is burn bridges with people who really had your back and now don't have your back anymore because they tired of getting fucked over. So I say like, why why be a toxic person? Why be a negative person in general? Just I don't have the energy to be negative all the time. Well, honestly, I try not to be negative at all, but I just don't have the energy to be negative and I don't have the energy to deal with negativity. Like I deal with this shit enough at work in the field. You know, if y'all for y'all for those of you who don't know, I do construction work. I deal with negativity all the time in that field. Customers can be a pain in the ass. But I'm not bringing that shit back home because why would I do that? But I don't want to digress too much. Like I said, y'all, I love us, but I hate that we've normalized negativity and toxicity. And I really feel like the shit stems from people wanting to, I guess, imitate these celebrity relationships that they see because oh, you see all the flashy cars and the money and all the BBLs and the fucking sheen dresses that these women are wearing nowadays, and swear to God that their designer dresses, no, that shit probably comes straight from Sheen. Who am I to say though? But in any case, yeah, you guys see shit like that online, and you think that it's all glitz and glamour. Like even the best looking marriage has its ups and downs. Even my marriage has had its ups and downs. My relationship has had its ups and downs, but nobody else is gonna know that because I don't make that shit known to everyone. What happens, well, other than you guys now, who probably know, but like I said, the shit, everybody goes through that, and it's not by choice. At least I don't think it's by choice. I could be wrong. You never know. Some people out here, they might go through the shit just to say they doing through it. You would be surprised. Y'all would really be surprised. I think it's the stupidest shit in the world to want to willingly go through some shit that's gonna affect you just to say you did it. But man, people are fucked up nowadays. They really are. Um. All right, let's switch up a little bit. Let's talk about external challenges that we face. So I'm gonna lighten up on us internally for now. We're gonna go back to that though, and we're gonna talk about some of our outside things that we either do or don't really have that much control over. So I'm not gonna talk about the external things too much because that can get kind of political, and I don't want to do politics on this channel. So I'm gonna just kind of name out a few things and just kind of say maybe one or two things on it, and we're gonna move on. But the next thing I want to talk about is external hate and challenges. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is systemic racism and stereotyping. Obviously, we know that systemic racism is a thing. A lot of the other people they like to deny it, obviously, but we all know it's a thing. Systemic racism basically it's the system. It's the system designed to hold us back as black people. Either rather it being pay wages, job opportunities, uh shit, everything, honestly. Stereotyping, media, uh hell, even in sports. Honestly, I know you guys have said, and again, I'm trying not to get too political, but I'm gonna just kind of I'm gonna try to say this, and I'm gonna try not to get too specific with it. I know you guys remember, well, some of you may remember that college football kid. I forgot what his name was. That had I think he kicked the field goal or something like that, and he lifted up his shirt, and it had "Make America Great Again" on it. Nobody really said anything to that, but at the same time, when we think back to when Colin Kaepernick took his kneel to protest police brutality and racism in the world, everybody got on his ass. People just, oh, keep politics out of football and this and that. And that's a lot. I saw that a lot. A lot of people were saying keep politics out of football. But when that other kid, when he had the writing on his shirt, nobody said nothing to that. Or at least I didn't see a lot of people say nothing to that. That's systemic racism and stereotyping if I've ever seen it, based on the media, based on honestly, I don't know, man. Man, Ninja straight canceled that. Yeah, they straight up canceled Colin Kaepernick because all he wanted to do was take a stand against police brutality and racism in the world. But nah, keep politics out of football is what they said. But let this white kid walk around with this fucking "Make America Great Again" on his shirt. Oh, he's showing love to the president and this and no, fuck you. Get the fuck out of here with that double standard shit. But in any case, y'all, I love us, but I hate how we're always portrayed as the problem. That's just what it is. Or he was just expressing it. Yeah, it's always, oh, he's just expressing himself. And another thing, who is this? I'm trying to see who this is commenting this. Ghost Kid. Ghost Kid. Oh, Ghost Kid, you just brought up another point. Do y'all remember when what's his name? What's his name? Cam Newton. When he that whole thing happened with the Super Bowl, right? And he jumped back, people wanted his head on the silver platter. They was, man, calling him everything, every name in the book, every fucking name in the book, dog. And I'm like, what is going on with this shit? And I get it. Yeah, he kind of fucked that up, but compare that to, let's just say, like Tom Brady, somebody. When he don't shake the hands of anybody else, oh, he's just emotional or he's this and that. But when, I want to say it was Cam Newton that did that too, but I know it was another black quarterback. It probably happened. It probably been multiple. But when you see that, he refused to shake somebody's hand. Oh, he's just being immature. He's just being childish, and he's showing a lack of sportsmanship. So I say that to say this: why? What's the double standards for in football? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I ain't gonna talk about that too much more. Brady be on the sideline throwing tantrums, cursing his people out, yelling at his folks. And I promise you, all they say is, "Oh, Brady's very emotional." But if a black quarterback did that, oh, well, he's showing a lack of sportsmanship, they'll be questioning his leadership, questioning his if he could keep his cool and composure and get the fuck out of here with that, bro. Y'all know what's up. Next thing is cultural appropriation versus respect. And I want to say to start this off that I love us, but I hate how we don't fight for our culture like we really should. If we being honest, y'all, like we built this XR melanin. Oh, what's good, bro? What's going on with you, man? It was Cam, and then he went to the sideline and sat by. Okay, yeah, I see. I knew I wasn't tripping because I remember I remember that now. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that for me. Um, yeah, like I said, y'all, I hate that we don't really fight for our culture like we're supposed to because if we being honest, y'all, we're often we get copied, we get monetized, but we never really get the respect that we have. I mean, our bounce music is now global. Black people started that shit, not white people. I'm sorry. Drake made that shit popular for the fucking white folks. But we all like us, we knew it was up. We knew this shit was centered in New Orleans, you know. And then, like I said, Drake stupid ass took it, and now people, I guarantee you, y'all, I guarantee they got people thinking that Drake made that beat, that "Nice for What" and "In My Feelings" beat. I guarantee somebody out there think that he made that beat. He did not make that beat. I'm telling y'all, he did not make that beat. He did not make the New Orleans beat. But in any case, all he did was take it and use it to get himself more popular. That's all he did. That's why I don't respect Drake. I'm sorry. Anyway, even in like I said, the New Orleans beat, but just black music in general. I mean, y'all know about Elvis Presley. It's been said that he stole from black culture. Uh, you could say Eminem did it, which I mean, I don't know if I agree or disagree on that. I'll let y'all tell me how y'all feel about that. But as far as the music, they've been pretty much taking our music, our flow, making it their own, like they kind of like to do. But it's also that the fact that we just kind of let it happen. And I get it. Like for some instances, like even though I don't really care for Drake as an artist, I can respect kind of what he did with bounce music because he did kind of bring it to the next level. Him along with Big Frida, we can all, I mean, we can debate about that. Obviously, it's you can say Big Frida did more for it because of her voice. Well, his voice, whatever. You can, but it all started with hell. We got legends like Sissy Novi, Magnolia Shorty, rest in peace. My cousin DJ Jubilee. It all started with us though. It all starts with this, and our culture just used and abused. Honestly, the music, the food, how we, how we party, our dances. Shit is just like it's one thing to respect it and to do it because you like it. It's another thing to do it and try to monetize it and make yourself popular over it and plagiarize it and different shit like that. We create cool, bro. Always, yeah. We see my man say we create cool stuff. Always, we always did. He gets it. You get it, my brother. Like you get it. But let's just be honest, yo. This very fucking land that we walk on, we built this shit. Like we built this shit. People back in Egypt, all those slaves that they had, we built this shit. All of these inventions that these white people get credit for, we started that shit. And again, I ain't gonna get too political with it, but look that stuff up, y'all. Like when y'all get a chance, look up all these inventions, like the traffic light, the heat furnace, all of these everyday things that would make our lives so much more inconvenient if we didn't have a black person invented that stuff, but a white person took credit for it. Look it up. It went up, may not have been everything, but I do know a few things, and I ain't no history teacher by any means. Like, and I don't claim to be, but this is just things that I've seen, I've heard, I've known, I've actually experienced myself. Moving on. I'm gonna. I don't know how much I want to talk about this right now, but I am gonna touch on it a little bit. This next one is kind of it's gonna go kind of into the policing and the injustice system. Um, like I said, y'all, I love us, but I hate that we've let the backlash on police brutality kind of fade away. And we can kind of debate about this, but I've kind of noticed that the police brutality thing, like, it's kind of faded away in a way. Like I don't really hear about us standing up against it as much as I used to. Like when George Floyd, when he met his tragic end, like we was like, yeah, like we about to ride. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like I don't really, and this could be to the point. This could be the media's fault for trying to cover shit up because I know they like to do that. But I just personally haven't seen it, and I'm not saying that it's not happening, but it's just I don't really see it. I don't see the passion anymore, and I get it. Like we don't want to live in that kind of being wokeness 24/7 because we also still do have our lives to live. But like I said, I just don't really see it. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place though, because like I said, the media likes to cover shit up. But I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. Uh, let's talk about economic exclusion just for a tad bit. We all know everybody else, they like to gatekeep resources, they like to gatekeep opportunities, they like to keep the wages, between them, and we're just kind of left out with the leftovers. And even in my field of work, I've personally seen that a lot of these bigger companies with these Caucasian people in there, they have their own way of doing shit. And when they see a contractor, their way of thinking immediately changes. They have their own set ways of thinking if it's a Caucasian contractor or if it's a black contractor like myself. I've personally heard stories about people not getting job opportunities because they wanted to keep all white workers. And I tell you guys no lie. Like I haven't personally seen it yet, which I'm pretty sure I will. Um, but I've heard stories about it. I've heard stories from very reputable sources on shit and how it happens. And even in my own life, like me personally, I'll tell you guys a quick story. I was going to see a guy. This was I think he was like Pakistani or it was some form of Arabian. I know they have like the Pakistans and the Middle Easterns and things like that, but he was some form of Arabian. I went to go look at his house to do something. I forgot what it was because this happened so long ago. And I introduced myself. I always introduce myself first. I always say, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Julian." Always extend my hand for a handshake. This man did not want to shake my hand. Why? I don't know. I literally I reached out my hand like this. He was like, "No, no, it's okay." So I'm like, "Okay, so now you're already showing me that you don't respect me because probably because of the color of my skin." And not that's just I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I mean, why else? Any race. Well, I'm not gonna say any race, but it's the general consensus in the United States. We as men we shake hands. We firm handshakes just to greet each other. Or some of us may dap or whatever. But if it's somebody you don't know, you extend your hand for a handshake, firm grip, and that's that. He didn't want to shake my hand. Um, let me see. Yeah, like I said, I've this is the way it the way this whole thing happens is just it's really really fucked up. Like this world itself is just corrupt as hell. And until people at the top until they start, I'm not even gonna say understanding because they know damn well what's going on. They just want to keep the money with them. And I saw a post on Facebook. It said I forgot exactly how it said it, but it was something similar to the effect of, oh, I remember to say it. It said the math will never math while the rich hold the calculator. Basically meaning that nothing will ever make sense. It'll never come together because they keep moving the goddamn goalposts around. They keep changing shit up to fit their scheme and to make sure that we stay as far away from what they have as possible. So I love us, but I hate how other races love to turn a blind eye to this. I hate the fact that they like to deny the shit. They love to deny it and they just say, "Oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and this and that." And I get that. And in some way they are right. But at the same time, you motherfuckers know exactly what's going on and you know what you're doing and you choose to do it because you want to keep us where we're at. And it's just what it is. I'm not accusing everybody of doing that, but in the general consensus, yes, a lot of you are doing that. So the last thing I want to talk about as far as external, you know, uh I guess we could say barriers or what have you. Let's see. External challenges. Gotta have my notes, y'all. Y'all know what's up with the notes. Preference, or what we call preference, which is basically hate, just disguised as a fucked up is a pretty word. Basically sugarcoating shit. When people say, "Oh, I have a dating preference," you gotta kind of take that with a grain of salt because some people do have a preference. I will say that. Like it's a thin line between hate and actual preference, but a lot of people when they use that word preference, it probably sometimes means hate because you can have your preference of your dating or have you choose to love whatever, but a lot of them they mask it over racism, basically saying, "Oh, I don't date black girls," but they just say, "Oh, I have a preference of date black girls isn't my preference or such and such." Guys, y'all know what's up. Well, we know. Don't try to bullshit us. We know what the fuck you mean by that. So I love us, but I hate that this word preference is just a fancy word for racism and not liking a particular color. And I hate that we do it ourselves, even with. Oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna get into that. So we've talked about external barriers. We've talked about internal things that obviously we need to talk about. So I'm gonna kind of open up the floor a little bit. So everybody that's in here, I would like for y'all to, you know, I got a couple of things I'm gonna ask y'all. I'm gonna chime in on it too, but since this is an open conversation, I would like y'all to participate in this. So the first thing I want to ask you guys is, have we mistaken flexing for progress? I'm gonna say it again. Have we as a black people mistaken flexing for progress? My answer to that is yes, we have. Especially the ones that love to flex money and, like I said earlier, assets over accomplishments. Flexing assets is not progress, my dude. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you have money, big fucking deal. I have money. So what? You have a car? Oh, I have a car too. So the fuck what? I actually pay for my shit in cash though. Whereas you have a note on yours that you can't afford. I have one vehicle that I have a note on. I can afford it though. You, on the other hand, have a vehicle that you cannot afford. Why are you putting yourself in this situation? Why are you purposely putting yourself in debt just to flex? That's not progress, my dude. That is flexing. Flexing will get you nowhere. So what do y'all think about that? I'm gonna move on to the next question, but let me see. I'm gonna try to keep these questions up just for a minute, just so everybody else can kind of get their chance to chime in if need be. So, like I said, the first question is, have we mistaken flexing for progress? I'm gonna leave it up here for about 20 seconds or so, and I want y'all to tell me what you think about that before I move on to the next question. It's gonna go away, but I'm about to put it up again. Have we mistaken flexing for progress? Agree, in my opinion, it says come rob me. Yeah, yeah, in a way. It kind of does. But all right, so I'll move on to the next question. And you're gonna see it on the screen in just a second. All right. Is toxic loyalty keeping us stuck? Meaning, is being loyal to something that doesn't really serve us, keeping us stagnant to where we don't want to be? What do you guys think about that as well? And this will be on YouTube as well for anybody else who wants to answer in the comments as well. In my opinion, yes, it does keep us stuck because, like I said earlier, people are loyal to the street life, but why be loyal to something that isn't going to be loyal back to you? Why be loyal to something that's only going to cause you pain? So the next question is, do we protect our culture or do we just protect dysfunction? And I'm going to put this up here as well. This is a good one right here. Dysfunction. All right, guys. Do we protect our culture or are we just protecting dysfunction? My opinion, we absolutely protect dysfunction. Some of us protect our culture, but a lot of us we protect a lot of bad shit too. I've personally seen things that people cover up that if the shit comes to light, you might be in jail for life, my dude. And I'm not about to sit here and spill the beans or nothing like that, but yeah, I've seen shit like that. Instead of us protecting what helps us, a lot of people, especially like the older generation, I'm sorry, I'm back on y'all. Y'all like to protect a lot of negative shit and a lot of criminal activity that happens. It's just simple as that. You can call me a snitch all you want. I ain't snitching on nobody. All I'm just saying, I'm just simply stating facts. But we got to get this next question going. And this question is, why do we clown each other for trying to grow? Somebody answer that for me, because that's the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. Why in the hell would you sit here and try to down somebody who's trying to do better for themselves? Why? That goes back to that crabs in the barrel mentality. Everybody wants to pull everybody down instead of lifting people up. Lift each other up, and we'll all be where we want to be at in life. You know. And I think At one point, I thought not trying to grow was and being ignorant was cool. Back in middle school, I was just, I mean, I at this point, I was just being a follower. But at the same time, I realized that no, wanting to grow for myself is the best thing I could do for myself. And I could give two shits about what the next motherfucker got to say. Bitch played me left while I was trying to grow to be better for that shit. That's what I'm saying. And that, my brother, you, I hope you left her. Cause if not, that goes back to that toxic loyalty shit. You being loyal to toxicity. But let me get this next question going for y'all. We're gonna move right along. I got about four more questions, and I'm gonna ask a few from our external, back to the external side, and then we're gonna end the live from there. So the next question is: do we hold each other accountable or just cancel each other? And when I say cancel, this could kind of go back to, well, not go back to, but we can kind of use the celebrity things somewhat in this because I've seen celebrities get quote unquote canceled for the dumbest shit. That shit that makes no sense. Let me put this question up again for y'all for another whenever. Do we hold each other accountable or do we just cancel each other? Now, like I said, my opinion on that is we like to pick and choose when to hold people accountable. And I feel like this cancel thing is just kind of a cop out for not wanting to hold somebody accountable. Like just, oh, I don't want to deal with it no more. Instead of teaching somebody, which okay, maybe we don't have the time to do that, but at the same time, not everybody knows everything. People are ignorant nowadays. Ignorancy is just part of growing up. You're not gonna know everything. Hell, I'm ignorant to a bunch of stuff still. Take the time out to let somebody know something instead of just, oh, I don't want to fuck with you no more because you did this. Now, racist shit, that's a different story. But if it comes to like, oh, he said a joke that I didn't like or this and that, come on, y'all. Let's be real now. I ain't gonna talk about the cancel culture too much before they try to cancel me for trying to hold them accountable. This next one is a pretty deep one that I have a lot to say about. Well, not a lot, but more than what I've said about the others. Are we too forgiving of celebrities who harm our culture? In my opinion, and my humble, not special opinion from just a average regular dude, absolutely, we are way too forgiving for celebrities who, for one reason or another, are not good for us or our culture. And ladies, I'm sorry, y'all gotta come on back up to the front because I'm about to be on your ass again. Let's take, and you know what? I hate to do this because I feel like y'all gonna try to cancel me. Let's take Chris Brown for example. Amazing artist, no doubt a Hall of Fame, you know, discography, career, whatever. But let's, brother Chris, let's hold you accountable for a second, my dude. You've shown time and time again that you have anger issues that you have yet to deal with. You've shown time and time again that you can be abusive. I mean, I don't know if you're physically abusive, but I mean, hell, Karuchi came out. You had that incident with Rihanna, which I don't. I'm going to talk about that too. But at the same time, like, long story short, it's clear that dude still has some growing up to do. But what I don't get, and I feel like I know somebody gonna comment this stupid shit on here, either on here on the YouTube video, and I'm just waiting for it. But in my personal opinion, I don't exactly understand why there's this phrase that gets tossed around. They can never make me hate you. And that to me just says that you either one have no self-esteem or two, you just don't care. It's one or the other. Because if you feel like they can never make me hate you for somebody who's time and time again been pretty much shown to have a short fuse, even with that incident back in, I think it was 2021 or something like that, what he just got out of jail for. But I say that to say that dude can get away with murder and nobody would bat an eye. And it's really just amongst us. And I'm not jealous of Chris Brown. I'm not hating on Chris Brown because I know one of you motherfuckers is probably gonna say that. I'm not jealous of him. I don't hate him. I actually think he's an amazing artist. I actually going to his concert in October only because my wife wanted to go though. But like I said, y'all turn a blind eye to his bullshit. And until you ladies, until my black queens, until y'all hold this man accountable and tell him, let him know, just like y'all be in his comments praising him no matter what the fuck he do, be in his comments holding him hold him accountable. Let him know, hey, we support you, but you gotta stop doing this fuck shit that you do. You have to stop getting involved in these shenanigans that give you jail time over and over again. Stop getting arrested. Stop getting in trouble with the law. Just make your music, go on your tours, rinse and repeat. But he's never been like that, in my opinion. And more specifically, and I'm gonna talk about this Rihanna shit just for a second too. In this particular instance, I don't fully blame him. I don't really know the whole story, but just from what I personally have heard, because I know how you people get when somebody gives an opinion that ain't your own, you like to fucking talk shit and try to insult people. So my from what I've seen, I believe that that was kind of an equal fight. I think Rihanna hit him first or something like that. That specifically, that's when you're supposed to have his back because personally, I have not seen anybody talk about Rihanna being at fault. Everybody just talks about, oh, he's a woman beater and this and that, which, hey, I don't know if it's true or not. Could be, could not be. But for this particular instance, I really just feel like Rihanna should have got more blamed and at least equal blame. She should have got some blame too for that situation, which she did not. And that just goes back to guys, we forgive these celebrities too much, but they're harming our culture. They make us look bad. These celebrities, these black celebrities, are they carry the I ain't gonna say they carry the torch for us, but they have more pull than we do. So we look up to these celebrities, which I don't, but some people look up to these celebrities and they just make us look bad. And I'm not just this ain't just about Chris Brown and Rihanna. It's about all of these artists that make this derogatory music, which I understand it's entertainment purposes. Yes, I do listen to it sometimes too, but it's just there's no there's no consistency with how we look at how celebrities kind of fuck up our culture in a way. If that doesn't make sense, let me know. I will explain it better. But in any case, like I said, it's that whole they can never make me hate you line for me because they're stuck in this intimate, fantasized relationship with him, Chris Brown. That is. So you got there's no accountability there. So therefore, he's gonna keep doing the shit that he does, and not just him. Anybody like Kodak Black, people gotta hold him accountable. Young boy, hold him accountable. Y'all love the man music so much, but y'all clearly missing that the motherfucker is a product of the ghetto, and he will. I hate to say this, but he'll probably never live. He'll probably never grow out of that lifestyle. And I get it. That's kind of what makes him his money. But at the same time, how many times has this man been locked up for? This man got fuck 35 kids that he can't never see because he's always in trouble or on house arrest or something or this or that. Like this man, I don't get it, y'all. I really don't get it. I don't want to talk about it too much more, but just I really want us to start holding these people more accountable. And I get it. Some of us don't really care about what goes on in their life. I'm with you on that. And in some ways, I don't care about it. But at the same time, if it's something that makes us look bad as a whole, we have to hold these people accountable. So let's move on to the next question. Actually, you know what? Do I want to do this question? Yeah, you know what? Let's do this one instead because I don't want to be too much longer on here. I'm already almost at an hour. Let's see. So my next question is, why do we only support black businesses until they mess up? Now, my opinion on this is it's kind of a tough one. And let me put this question up again for y'all. It's kind of a tough one to me because I support black businesses. I support black caterers, food trucks, apparel. But like I said, it's kind of hard to answer that one because I haven't ran into a black business that I feel like I don't want to support anymore because of one thing that happened. But at the same time, what makes me not support, well, I'm not gonna say that. What makes me not want to, be a consumer of yours is either poor quality or overpriced items, which we also have a pretty bad habit of doing that amongst our black community. Like for example, um, anybody in New Orleans, y'all probably know this, man. Y'all probably know this place already. The Nola Baby Food Truck on Haynes Boulevard. I've eaten there twice before now. Haven't eaten there since because when I went, the food was it was okay. I mean, I won't say it was nasty, but I just feel like kind of the food was overpriced. I mean, it was crawfish tacos, and I paid like $15 for three of them. I feel like that's kind of overpriced, especially considering all it was grilled taco, not grilled tacos, Lord have mercy, grilled crawfish and some cabbage and a little sprinkle of cheese and some sauce. I feel like $15 for three of those, that's kind of high. I mean, I don't know. But I also have shopped with World Vision before. Y'all know that clothing brand. I haven't gotten apparel from them in a minute, and the only reason why I haven't done that is because the quality of their shirts. The now I don't know, it could have changed by now, but this is like I think the last time I ordered a shirt was a couple of years ago. Um, the quality was just it just wasn't there for me, and the shirts, it like I for example, I bought an extra large shirt, and when I washed it, of course it shrinks. Shit, it turned into damn near medium. Like it shrunk almost two sizes, and I don't fault the owners for that. I think it was maybe I got it too small. I don't know, but I say that to say this: it's easy to want to point out the negatives in a black business, and people kind of tend to do that more than praising them for what they did get right. And not every business is going to get it right first go. It takes years to get things down pat. Hell, I'm still perfecting. I'm still trying to perfect recipes that I've started back when I was, what am I, 30 now? That I've started when I was 21, and I'm still trying to find ways to improve it. Just I say that to say, like, don't give up on these businesses. Keep supporting them because that support is what they need to better themselves and to give out better products. Of course, hold them accountable. Constructive criticism is basically the basis of any kind of improvement, but just don't give up on them. But at the same time, us as black businesses, we have to start pushing out better products at competitive rates. I mean, obviously, we're not going to compete with nobody like Taco Bell or McDonald's that can charge $1 for a burger, but we got to charge them near $5 or $6 for one. But at the same time, let's try to push out quality as well as try to stay as competitive as possible. Give the community something to actually want to, invest in, because the community is the investment. If we push out quality products, the community is going to invest in us, and it just keeps going and going. The community is more happy, we're more successful, we can push out more locations, and yada yada yada. um let's see. I think I'm gonna let's see, I have some external questions too. But I think I'm probably gonna only ask maybe two of them, and then that'll probably be it. So bear with me for just a quick second. I think I'm going to, I don't know, maybe I might save this for part two. I might do. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna save the external hot takes for part two, but I am gonna ask one very important one that I feel like it really needs to be asked. Yeah, let's see. Something that I had. Yeah, let's do this one. So this next one is, why does it take viral trauma for Black voices to be heard? And when we say viral trauma, obviously situations like George Floyd, like Trayvon Martin, like Sandra Bland, and all of these black, these black people that have been unnecessarily murdered by cops. That is all a form of viral trauma. Or like, Shell, there's so many things that I can talk about. I don't want to talk about this too much because it's gonna keep diving. I'm really towing that line on political, and I really don't want to do that. But I feel like even viral trauma sometimes doesn't even help. I feel like this help that we do get because of the outrage that we show, it's more like a here nigga damn type shit, or just to shut us up. And I don't feel like it comes from a place of genuine, wanting to help. I really feel like it just comes from a place of here, just taking and leave. So just to say we did something for y'all, so y'all can shut up, and we fall for it every time, y'all. It's just, to be honest, we fall for that shit every time. Like, we don't want, fuck getting streets named after black people. Just change the system, change the educational system, change the justice system, change society. Fuck, we don't care about getting street names after us. We want fucking change in the world. Like, what the fuck is the sign being named Julian Temple Boulevard gonna do for me? It does. It's not gonna do anything for me. I don't care if my name is on the sign or not. I want better for my people. I want better for our kids growing up, fucking failing everything. Goddamn teachers can't even give you a failing grade now. One of my friends who's a teacher told me you can't even give failing grades to a teacher, to a student now. The lowest grade you can give them is a 50%, and that's considered not failing. So you tell me, how in the fuck does that help our kids for the future when all they got to do is write their names on papers and turn the shit in for the whole school year and still pass? You have these educational systems to where these kids who don't even know colors, are graduating into the goddamn eighth grade. How the hell, like, make that make sense? Instead of holding the kids back, getting them special help, because some of these kids are a product of their environment. It starts at home too, but at the same time, the parents can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? Because as parents, like, it's a team effort, but we're not teachers at the end of the day. We're not educators, but at the same time, we shouldn't expect you guys to be raising our kids. We should be the ones taking care of the behavioral issues. You guys do the teaching. And if my child gets out of line, call me up. I'm gonna be there. Shit, I'll drop what I'm doing. Swing on, Ari, what the fuck you doing in here? You know. But I don't want to digress too much. We live in this educational system to where kids, they get their get. It's not even a passing. It's more of a moving on. It's not a promotion. It's literally just a moving on. I can't even call it a promotion because a promotion basically insinuates that you've done enough to move on to that next step. But at the same time, that's not a promotion. They just move these kids up because they don't have the space to keep them in their previous grade, knowing that they need it. And then you send these kids out to these high schools, not even knowing how to count to 10, and you setting them up for failure. And the school system itself is already set up for black kids to join the workforce. They're setting these kids up to join the workforce. Nobody's setting them up how to fucking read, financial literacy and how to do this and trade schools and things like that. No, this educational system is shits. Like, it's bottom of the barrel shits. Like, my own shit is probably better than this shit. Like, literally. And I don't know, y'all. It's just it's probably one of the biggest things that I really wish would change, and this is why I don't really care for the mayor too much, and I'm not gonna see. Now I'm starting to get political. I don't want to get political. Yeah, let me just forget I even said that. Um, but yeah, y'all, like I said, it's we have a really fucked up educational system. It's set up for us to fail because, like I said, it's set. They're preparing us to join the workforce to give back to society more or less instead of us owning our own business and creating our own ventures. They want us to give back to the give back to the very society who could give two shits about us. Just make that make sense. They want us to give back to the society that gives two shits about us. Just think about that for a second. That's if that ain't a fucking pyramid scheme, I don't know what the fuck it is. This whole world is a pyramid scheme, y'all. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. Uh, I'm gonna probably do a part two next week because I still have a lot I want to talk about, and for the sake of saving time, let's just say, yeah, part three or part two of this is coming tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next Wednesday. Part three of this series is gonna be next Wednesday. Like I said, catch episode two if you want the beginnings of this conversation. My episode two, Do Better, Be Better, is on YouTube. This one will be on YouTube pretty soon. If not tomorrow, then Friday. And I will catch y'all next week on. We're going to continue this conversation and we're going to get it all out. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in.